Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially. At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
In the history of our country, since we came under British rule, that we have met to frame our own constitution. It is a great responsibility. In fact, as the honorable mover of the resolution reminded us, it is a solemn and a sacred trust which we Indians have agreed to perform, and we propose to do so to the best of our ability.
Good evening, dosto. This is the first part of the series we have started yesterday, Constitution for Everyone. In this part, we are going to talk about the preamble of our Constitution. Do you know, America was the first country who introduced preamble in their Constitution. Later, along with many countries, our country too followed this practice. The term preamble literally means the essence of the Constitution. N.A. Palkhiwala, who was a great jurist and a constitutional expert, who was also a part of making of the Constitution, called the preamble as the identity card of the Constitution. The preamble was drafted by Jawaharlal Nehru. He presented it to the Constituent Assembly in 1946 as an objective resolution. Later in 1947, the Constituent Assembly accepted and adopted it. The 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1976 amended the preamble of the Indian Constitution during the period of emergency. It added socialist, secular, and integrity to it. You can see both the preambles on the screen. Let us see the today's preamble. The preamble basically says 1. The people of India is the source of the authority of the Constitution of India. 2nd, it declares the nature of Indian state as sovereign, socialist, secular democratic republic. 3rd, it specifies justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity as the main objectives. Here are some wise words from those who were part of Constituent Assembly till 1950. Sir Aladi Krishnaswamy Iyer. The preamble of the Constitution express what we had thought or dreamed so long. K. M. Munshi. The preamble of the Constitution is the horoscope of our sovereign democratic republic. Pandit Thakurdas Bhargava beautifully praised the preamble as it is the most precious part of the Constitution. It is a key to the Constitution. It is a jewel set in the Constitution. It is a proper yardstick with which one can measure the worth of the Constitution. Like any other part of the Constitution, the preamble was also enacted by the Constituent Assembly, but after the rest of the Constitution was enacted. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the president of the Constituent Assembly, forwarded the preamble for vote to know if the preamble is the part of the Constitution. The motion was then adopted. However, there are 3 important judgments of Supreme Court on this issue. First, Berubari Union Case 1960. Second, and the most historic one, Swami Keshavananda Bharti vs. State of Kerala 1973. And third, LIC of India vs. Consumer Education and Research Center Case 1995. Let's discuss them quickly one by one. In Berubari Union Case 1960, the Supreme Court held that the preamble shows general purposes behind the several provisions in the Constitution. The apex court said that the preamble is the key to the mind of the makers. The reason behind this is Justice P.B. Gajendra Gadkar believed that the preamble may use for the interpretation if somewhere in the Constitution the term of any article are capable of having more than one meaning. Now 13 years later, in 1973, the Supreme Court in Keshwananda Bharti vs. State of Kerala case rejected the earlier opinion and said that the preamble is a part of the Constitution. This case was a historic milestone in the history of India. The largest still yet, 13 judges' benches said that preamble is of extreme importance and the Constitution should be read and interpreted in the light of the grand and noble vision expressed in the preamble. Then again in the LIC of India case in 1995, the Supreme Court remarked that the preamble is the integral part of the Constitution. In 1973, the petitioner Swami Keshwanand Bharti argued that the preamble cannot be amended by either house as it is not the part of the Constitution according to the case of Barubari Union 1960. But the 13 judges bench and the CGI Sarvamitra Sikri said that the preamble is the part of Constitution and it can be amended, but it is subject to the condition that no amendment is done to the basic feature or basic structure of Constitution. Now during 1975 to 1977, India faced the period of emergency, and in 1976, the Law and Justice Minister Mr. H.R. Gokhale introduced the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Bill in both Rajya Sabha and in Lok Sabha, which was adopted by both houses, and the act altered the basic structure of the Constitution. I will make a separate video on 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, and in the next video I will explain what is the basic structure of the Constitution. If you want to know about it, stay tuned to this channel.